Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, y'all.
Welcome back. Are you ready for Halloween?
Bitch, I am.
What is your granny name?
I don't know.
Like, you're dark. You're Mexican, so you gotta have like a Mexican granny
Consuelo. I always want
name. No, Consuela.
Consuelo. It's called Consuelo.
Really?
Yeah.
Consuelo. Okay, well, she's Consuelo today. And I'm Bernadette. Okay. So welcome to this week's episode with Consuelo and Bernadette.
Hey. ¿Cómo están, mijos?
Oh, ¿dónde está tu café? Allá abajo.
Aquí tengo mi agüita de horchata. Oh my God, this is too funny.
As you can tell, we're excited for Halloween.
We have our moo-moos.
Well, she has a cute one. I just got the granny one because I was like, let me just buy a granny moo-moo.
I have this one. I have my little pearls that I stole.
I lost my pearls.
That I stole from one of my grandchildren. And Kimberly fucked up my wig last year, so. My little rollers.
Her rollers.
And look at Rosie's.
I'm sexy,
Beautiful
Grandma.
hair. She looks like George Washington's wife. It's giving me George Washington's vibes.
Yeah.
And then Rosie did our blush.
As you can know,
And then we got some bright pink lipstick.
Yeah. For the record, this was only for my granny costume last year because this is what I wore for Halloween. That's the only reason why I have lipstick that fucking bright. All my shit's dark.
She didn't have blue eyeshadow, so
I didn't have blue eyeshadow. I didn't.
we're like, fuck.
Yeah. But let us know what you think about our costumes, y'all.
Yes.
We're super excited. Let's see. Oh, this episode is going to be a long episode and it's going to be filled with spooky stories. Some of these, I don't know how to pronounce some of the words, so please excuse me. I tried studying how to pronounce them and I'm white, so I can't. But we're very excited to have these episodes.
Oh, and we still have Miss Irma Dale here.
Yeah, we still got my mom. I ain't gave her back yet. My sister's going to want her back eventually. But
she's right there.
yeah, we're just trying to, trying to spend some quality time with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Let's jump in here. It's okay. I caught you. Like you didn't catch me. Unlike that time you didn't catch me when I fell out the tree.
Oh.
Yeah. And then she made me pick a switch. But my stupid ass was like, oh, I'll get the little one. No.
You
Ain't that
fucked
right?
up.
Ain't that right, Mom? Oh, now you don't want to be still, right? Just put my phone right up against you. There.
Mom, please don't fall.
Now you can't move. Yeah, Reba's going to kill me. All right. Let's see. We're going to start with creepy mortician stories.
Nice.
Do you want to do this one or?
You read that one.
Okay. So this is from our lovely friend from the last episode.
2 episodes ago.
Yeah, from 2 episodes ago. She's the one who sent the Appalachian Mountain ones. Bitch, I look so white.
You do.
I look pale as fuck.
This is your future.
Don't say that. Well, at least I got good hair.
It looks nice.
Yeah. I was trying to be, what's her name from the Golden Girls?
Betty White.
No, I was Blanche. Because she was like an old lady and a hoe.
Oh.
Yeah. She always had her hair done nice. She's who I aspire to be.
Nice.
Blanche. All right. Let's jump straight into this. Says,
Bitch,
hey,
you look
girlies.
like a fucking clown. Sorry. Interest of thought one.
I look like a clown?
I said, bitch, I look like a clown.
Oh, I was about to say rude?
Keep going.
Man, I'm going to tell my mom to go home with you.
No, she cannot go home with me. She has to go to Reba's house.
Says, hey, girlies, you asked and you shall receive. So first things first, Rosie, when you were mentioning a feeling nauseous while looking at the pictures, that's a feeling a lot of our guests would have, along with some lower back pain when they would come over to the house. Anyways, as I mentioned, I'm a beginner mortician and I have been interning at this funeral home for the past 4 months. So far, the creepiest / scary things I've experienced are a few. One night, I was shutting down the chapel viewing room and was cleaning the windows from the inside. When I finally finished, I had to walk inside and vacuum the carpet. As I passed by a window, I noticed little kid fingerprints all over the bottom window. I looked around and I was like, what the hell? I know I cleaned. So I re-cleaned it. The next morning, while I was setting the room up for viewing, all the fucking windows had tiny kid handprints. I asked the funeral director and he laughed and said, oh, that's Thomas. He's been seen around the funeral home and likes to play pranks. When I asked who Thomas was, he mentioned it was his son. His son died at 7 years old when a car struck him while riding his bike. Then last week, I was cleaning out the cremator, the cremation chamber. Hey, Mom, you know what that is. And was doing what I had to do so the mortician and funeral director could place another deceased in there. While I was cleaning, I heard heavy footsteps coming down the hall and heading into the embalming room. Didn't think anything of it until I remembered I was the only person down there while they were above me talking to the deceased family. As I'm walking to the embalming area, I feel very uncomfortable, but I brush it off. I look around, but nobody is there except for the deceased. As I go over to make sure everything looks good, I hear a voice say, where am I supposed to go? Oh. Then I hear very labored breathing next to my ear. I whipped around so fast, but didn't notice anybody next to me. I ran up the stairs so fast, and I had to calm myself down. I have to remember the dead can't hurt you, only the living. But come on. I've been here 4 months, and that's 2 times too many at getting spooked. Maybe I should have picked a different career.
Maybe.
Hopefully, I can send more creepy stories soon. I wish y'all the best of luck on spooky season starting soon.
First of all, I think it's more scary when it's like kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're creepy.
Imagine you just cleaning and then you're like, I know I cleaned this motherfucking window. And I did my little handprints.
Yeah. Well, remember when we lived in the apartments together, we would always have the little kid handprint
on the mirror?
On the mirror after the shower.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't have any kids at the time because I was pregnant with Lupito.
But it was in your bathroom.
Yeah, it was in my bathroom. Because it would have that really long one that had claws almost. And it was too long. So on the window, this is my hand. Right? But the hands would be mirror. Like the fingertips would start up here. And it would just be real long. And I don't know, that place was haunted as fuck.
And yeah, it was creepy. Because when you were take a shower, I would have to be in your room and you would have the door open and vice versa.
Yeah. When I tell you we've done everything. There was times, was it you or who was it?
Monday.
Or was it Carlos?
What?
I don't know. I remember Abel was working late at night. Mm-hmm. I was having a lot of back pain. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I'm going to go sit in the bathtub, but I was by myself and I didn't want to. And I don't remember if it was you or Carlos that I made sit on the toilet or on the floor while I had the curtain closed and I was sitting in the bathtub.
No, it was probably Carlos.
Because I didn't want, he was like, bro.
I don't remember.
I was like, Carlos, I was like, no, because at first I was fine. Mm-hmm. I remember I was just sitting in the bathtub, but I had the door open. Mm-hmm. Right? And then you could hear whispering or something like that. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it was creeping me the fuck out. And I was like, somebody come here. And I was screaming and I forgot who it was, but somebody ran into the room and I was like, I'm naked. Then so I pulled the curtain closed and I was like, okay. I was like, you can come in. And they're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I was like, I'm hearing stuff. But I'm having a bunch of back pain. I was like, fuck me. It was bad.
Carlos, I don't remember that.
And then It might have been Carlos because he's like, but what do you want me to do? He was like, do I take you to? I was like, no. I was like, I just need to sit in the bathtub, but I don't want to be by myself. Mm-hmm. Girl, so I had to stick my hand. I had the curtain closed and I stuck my hand outside.
And he held it.
And he had to hold my hand while he sat on the toilet. He was like, bro. I was like, it's okay. I'm like, we're friends. He's like, this is the weirdest shit I've had to do with you.
Yeah, because he's not gonna stay in the room.
Because he was like, bitch, like I'm not gonna be by myself. Like we both gonna be in here together. I was like, man,
nah, but that apartment was creepy.
Yeah, yeah. And the crazy thing is it wasn't like that when we moved in. Like there was nothing. It didn't have like a crazy energy. Like everything was fine. So I don't know what happened.
I remember when I moved in, I was just...
You brought it with you.
No. Yeah. It was happening way before that. It was happening with...
It could have been with Fat because she was... Like, you know, like all the stuff she kept trying
moved in way before me. But even when I moved in...
First of all, we had way too many people in that apartment. And we were only like 17.
When I moved in, it was... Yeah. It was a very uneasy feeling. I hated sleeping in the living room. That's how I would sleep in your room. On the floor with Carlos.
Yeah, like, obviously I got the bed because it was my bed. But I was like full-blown pregnant, so I couldn't be on the floor. So Carlos and Laura used to like get a bunch of cobijas and make a pallet.
Nah, because the living room was creepy.
Yeah.
You will see like where your door was at, it was that hallway closet, and then that corner right there, you will see something.
There was always something there.
Something tall and black. And I was like, I'm not sleeping there.
If it wasn't on my side of the apartment, it was on Emily's side. Mm-hmm. And it was right there like where her bathroom was.
By the kitchen area. Yeah.
And you could always see it walk. And it would just walk like back and forth between the rooms. Yeah, it was
creepy.
And we used to try and light velas. So, like, you know how they tell you to like pray, like you say your prayer, then you read the prayer on the back, and then you light the vela. Well, our velas, like you could see somebody go, and they would blow out. That, or they would burn from the bottom up. And it was so weird because the whole candle would be black.
Mm-hmm. Or sometimes the wick, the little wick will be split, so we couldn't no longer light it. It was creepy.
Yeah, we've had some crazy. What was it? Were you there with us when we had to get on top of him?
Bitch, on top of who?
Abel's brother.
No, I think it was way before I moved in.
No, I think it was after. I think you were with your parents.
No, we already moved out.
No, no, we were also living together.
Was I visiting my parents or something?
I think maybe you were visiting them or something. But I remember, like, my brother-in-law started, like, contorting and, like, shit like that. And he was, like, saying stuff. And we were like, what the fuck? And I'm pregnant. Abel's yelling at me to leave the room. Yeah. And I was like, no. I'm like, what the hell? And, like, Carlos and Abel were struggling to pin him down. And I was like, well, like, goddamn, like y'all can't do it. So I'm over there like this trying to pin his legs. And Abel's like, fucking move.
Yelling at you.
He was yelling at me. And so I was like, hold on. So then I laid on my back. I was like, that way he can't kick my stomach. So I was laying across his legs like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was
Emily there?
Yeah, she was there. And then I remembered like the closet door, like when all that was happening, the closet.
Hallway? The one by the front door?
No, the one in their room, because this happened in their room.
Oh. And I slept in that room once they left.
It was like this, like the doors kept doing this.
Nah.
And then the clothes, you could see them like somebody was running their fingers across, so they were just like swaying. And I was like, what the fuck?
Because whenever they moved down, you know how me and Carlos took over that room and stuff? Well, whenever we took over that room, Carlos was getting a lot of sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
A lot. And then he'll wake up and he'll be like, hey, you didn't hear? I was like, I never prayed in my life, but every time I'm gonna go to sleep in that room, in that apartment, I will pray. I never felt anything weird or seen anything weird. I will see the shadows, of course, but sleep paralysis, it always happened to Carlos. And then he was like, well, let's switch, because he would sleep by the closet. I'm like, all right. We switched, and he didn't have no sleep paralysis for a while. And me, I would just like wake up because I would feel somebody looking at me. Like we were close to sliding doors. And when I will wake up to use the restroom, the door will be wide open. I was like, yeah, we ain't doing this. I think after a while, I was just like, yeah, I can't be living like this.
Yeah,
and we just moved out.
Yeah, it was bad. Like, it was bad. But that was also when we had that big storm. Remember, we had that big storm and it short-circuited all the appliances in that house.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's why we had to move out. Everything. And it wasn't just like even one or two things.
But the renter's insurance didn't even cover it.
Yeah, like the fridge, the microwave, like everything. Nothing fucking worked. And I was like... what the hell? So that's when we all had to move out, and I was like, bro,
crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the other one.
Okay, here, you can do this one because the other one you can't. You struggle to pronounce those.
Okay, it says, hello bitches, love the podcast and can't wait to hear what you have for spooky season. I'm 24, almost 25 next month, and I have had experiences with the supernatural, and as a child, I often would stay awake all night hearing noises around me. Let me start off. I grew up in London, UK, but originally I am from Punjab, India, and I was also born there, but came to the UK when I was 3, so I basically grew up here. In my culture, there is a lot of people who tend to do black magic, and they do it around the Indian festival of Diwali, not to ward off dark spirits, but to bring them. Often they will leave candles to burn in the middle of the street, and it is believed that anyone who is passing by will have all the sins of the person who placed the candle put onto them, meaning the other person has the passerby sacrifice for their pleasure.
So the person who places the candles in the street, whoever walks by those candles is the sacrifice.
Oh my God.
So if you walk by those candles, she means like all the sins that the person who placed the candles there committed, you get them. You're the sacrifice.
That's crazy. And since this is an actual event that I experienced when I was 8, it doesn't really have anything to do with the Diwali or black magic, but I was staying at my grandparents' residence in India during summer holidays, and I remember that my dad was staying over at his friend's place. It was midnight, around 11 p.m., and everyone was asleep, except for me. The only other people in the house was my grandpa, who was paralyzed due to a stroke, my grandma, and my cousin and sister. I couldn't sleep that night since I had overeaten during the dinner. I was a chubby kid. And I decided to walk some laps in the corridor of the small bungalow.
Girl, not her at 8 trying to exercise in the middle of the night.
Not even that, at 11. The moment I tiptoed out of the room where me and my grandma were sleeping, I was surprised to see my grandma standing in the corner of where an old chair laid, and I was bewildered since I swore I just saw her in a deep sleep in the room. So I decided to peer back in the room, and my grandma was still fast asleep. My mind began to race, and I felt like I was going to faint. When I looked back to the corridor, my grandma was still standing near the fridge, smiling.
See, when you say that, I picture like
this.
Yeah, like the creepy smile.
Yeah, that's creepy. I decided to remain quiet since I didn't want anyone to wake up and get angry at me for still being awake, so I decided to walk towards the figure. No.
That's some white people shit.
Girl, no. Stop. The figure seemed to look like my grandma, started to speak and say, "You want to come and play with the dolls," while standing on the balcony. I was so surprised that my grandma was saying that since she was always so tired or busy to play with me, so I agreed. We walked to the balcony where we could view the rest of the town. It was pitch dark and all the street vendors had long gone home. I looked down the street and saw the house next to us. There had been an old couple who lived there but had died when I was around 2, and it was abandoned. But what caught my eye was that my grandma was standing in their garden, waving and screaming at me to jump from the balcony, and she promised to catch me in time.
Girl, she was trying to sacrifice you.
Hell no. I began to panic, and I was about to jump off when I remembered that this was not my grandma, and I was probably just dreaming, so I decided to walk back down. As I was walking back into the house, I felt something grab me from the back of my collar. I turned around, and it was my grandma, but this time it didn't sound like her. She was screaming at me for doing that, as she said that I was going to be punished. I used my quick instincts and what I learned from all horror movies that I had watched, which were 18 plus, and I decided to run back into the house and wake up my real grandma. Obviously, when I got back in, I could still feel the pressure of the entity, but my grandma was not waking up and was such in a deep sleep. I decided to lay back in bed despite all that happened. I was just about to close my eyes and doze off when I saw something standing near the cabinet with the limbs contorted and tongue out, and it had long hair and a blue face. I tried not to scream. It looked exactly what I perceived to be a Chudal, an Indian female ghost. I'm going to go ahead and put a picture on in the video anyways. I don't know what happened after that, but I somehow just fell asleep, and I haven't told anyone I know about this since that day because I know no one will believe me.
That's crazy.
What's creepy is the fucking smile.
Yeah.
And then for her to be all contorted and stuff with her tongue out.
Well, so I was doing research on that. Like, I was Googling it. So apparently a chudal, if we're saying it right, hopefully we are. But I was Googling it. Apparently it's a vengeful spirit, like from India. And so the lore behind it is that this woman is typically vengeful to like men and things like that. Like, she died of like this horrific, she died this horrific death at the hands of like her husband, or during like a really gruesome childbirth, or like something like that. And that's how, they become that. That's like she wants to right the wrong that was done to her. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I learned from Google.
Interesting.
So that's creepy. And first of all, if you saw your grandma laying in that bed, your ass should have went back to your bed.
Exactly. That's
like
creepy.
I would have went and laid the fuck back down. She was
young.
8, and she wanted to play dolls.
Yeah, crazy.
That's creepy.
All right, let's see. All right, you got to read that one.
Okay. It says, "Hey ladies, my cousin recently sent you an email and decided to tell me to send you my creepy story that happened to our cousin. In advance, I'm sorry if I pronounce any of these words wrong, but I'm trying. My family are all Muslim, but I consider myself agnostic. I don't necessarily believe in jinns or spirits, but growing up, I heard many stories about them in mosques and in family gatherings. I'm Bengali, and every 2 to 3 years, me and my family go to Bangladesh for a month or two. I have this one older cousin. We'll call him Hamed. Hamed was very religious. He'd be in mosques all day. He was in Hafiz classes, and he'd always share religious posts to me online. One thing about Hamed is he loves scaring the living shit out of everyone with stories about jinns, spirits, and the supernatural. His father's side of the family grew up in a rural village where jinn stories were popular, so I guess that's where he got them from. Since I'm only in Bangladesh for a month or two, the day before I head back home, my cousins throw a party on our rooftop with food, music, etc. After the party, me and 3 of my cousins, including Hamed, stayed around the rooftop till 4 a.m. playing Uno, and me telling them stories about my life in another country. My cousin Hamed pulls out a laser pointer, and the laser pointer has some weird attachment that kind of expands the light to make it look like one big green flashlight.
Imagine people getting paranoid thinking it was a UFO.
Right? He starts pointing it on rooftops of other buildings. We were messing around with the flashlight till we pointed it at this one building. The building was far from us, maybe a block or 2 away. On the rooftop, we saw what looked like to be a tall man. It was odd seeing this, as where we lived, everybody knew each other, and we've never seen a man this tall. This man stayed still for a whole minute. We kept the flashlight on him, examining him. After a few more seconds, he fell to the ground. We were shocked because we thought he had collapsed. He then jumped extremely high into the air like a whole meter. We kept the flashlight on him, and he was running around on the rooftop. We were all confused, but Hamed was scared shitless. He started reading Ayatul Kursi. I hope I said that right. A verse from the Quran, while signaling for us to go down the stairs back into the house. When he got back into the house, Hamed said that the man he saw was actually a jinn. The next day, an imam came into the house. Him, Hamed, and my 2 other cousins were in a room together. They told me to leave as I was young, around 13 at the time. That week, the imam came to the house about 3 times, and I remember the rooftop was locked up and nobody was going up there. Hamed ended up explaining the imam put food there to lure the jinn in. After 3 days, we unlocked the rooftop. We went up to see the food and to see that the food was gone, and nobody spoke about the jinn anymore. But the whole week, my family were continuously playing the Quran in the house. Now, honestly, the jinn we saw could have just been a drunk guy, and the eaten food could have just been eaten by a bird or something. But this is the closest thing I got to a paranormal experience. Ooh, I like this one. This one was cool.
What if it was just the birds eating the food the whole time?
Yeah, but my biggest thing is like, how do you explain, you know,
the little Mario jump?
Yeah, and then like the random dude just on the fucking rooftop at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning.
Mm-hmm.
Like he fell to the ground and then just...
A homeless person?
I don't know.
A crackhead?
I don't know. Like, come on. Like, there's mimics. There's ghosts. Like, there's all sorts of shit like that. So, like, why wouldn't a jinn be one of them? They all come from somewhere.
I agree.
So, I don't know. I found that interesting. I liked that story. That one was cool.
I liked all of them.
Yeah. They were all good. We just never had one about a jinn before. So
what's a jinn? Like, what did he say? What is it?
Let's see what Google says.
What is a jinn? ¿Qué es un jinn? ¿Qué es un jinn?
So, jinn or djinn are invisible creatures that can shapeshift and interact with humans. They have free will, accountability, and can be believers or disbelievers in God. Feel like that ain't explained nothing.
No.
Okay.
Guys, side note, do you guys know that Tylenol gives you autism?
Laura.
According to, you know, what is he called?
Robert Kennedy.
Yeah.
But the president.
Or he couldn't even say it.
He couldn't say acetaminophen.
He said
Tylenol. Oh my gosh. Okay. Jinni, in Arabic mythology, is a spirit inhabiting the earth, but unseen by humans. Capable. Okay, Mom. Sorry, my mom was fucking with the internet, y'all. Capable of assuming various forms and exercising extraordinary powers. Belief in jinn was common in the pre-Islamic Arabia, where they were thought to inspire poets and soothsayers. Their existence was affirmed in the Quran, and they are conceptualized in Islam as creatures parallel to human beings who are capable of choosing between good and evil and must thus face eventual salvation or damnation. They are beings of smokeless flame by nature, in the same manner in which humans are said to be made of earth, and they cannot be seen by human beings.
So like ghosts, basically?
Yeah, I would take it as a form of that.
They just name it jinn?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool.
Y'all, send us more. Send us more stories. I like it.
Yeah.
I like these.
Ask Hamed if he has any other stories. I feel like he'd be a good storyteller. You know what? Like if he likes scaring the shit out of people, then we want his stories. I want to know what goes through his mind when he tells the stories. Same. That's kind of cool. But alrighty, guys, I think that's it for this episode. Stay tuned next week for whatever kooky, spooky idea. I said idea. Idea. Remember who sneezed and I was like, hello. I think it was Abel that did it. But I had pregnancy brain at the time. But we hope you enjoyed these spooky stories sent in by y'all. We've enjoyed them and we can't wait to hear what else y'all send in. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and YouTube. If you want to listen, if you want to see clips, we're going to upload them on YouTube and on TikTok. So, yeah.
I'm excited.
Till next time, spooky people.
Ooh, bye.
Bye.